There are exactly three things Linda Grayson can't stand: overgrown lawns, mailboxes clashing with the HOA-approved color scheme, and unregistered vehicles cluttering her cul-de-sac. So, when she spotted a dusty white van with no HOA symbol plates parked across from her rose garden for the third day in a row, it wasn't just a breach of neighborhood rules, it felt like a personal insult. What Linda didn't realize was that the van she'd soon sabotage belonged to the FBI. And what she really didn't know: inside that van was a high-tech surveillance setup tracking one of the East Coast's most notorious drug traffickers who, by the way, lived 2 doors down and loved her zucchini muffins. Linda Grayson had built her life around a fortress of HOA bylaws and a meticulously curated VY shine of suburban perfection. Her calendar was a rainbow of patrol shifts, and she took neighborhood watch to a whole new level despite the fact that the last 5 years had seen only 2 crimes. One involved buying a stolen inflatable snowman. Order wasn't just her passion, it was her oxygen. She enforced it with gusto, occasionally slipping passive-aggressive notes into mailboxes like a suburban vigilante. Her garage? Less a parking spot, more a war room complete with a corkboard plastered with neighbor photos, trash bin timestamps, and red string that screamed amateur detective. So, on that crisp Wednesday morning, as birds chirped and sprinklers whirred in Pleasant Grove's suburban symphony, Linda stood there, travel mug in hand, robe tied with a knot that oozed authority, glaring at the van like she could banish it with sheer willpower. She'd already tried the polite note under the wiper, then a printed parking policy, and finally a bolded, bullet-pointed letter. Nothing worked. The van sat there, silent and menacing. She'd checked her logs, no neighbor owned it. That left one conclusion: someone was challenging her. She waited until 2 a.m. to strike. Dressed in black yoga pants, a turtleneck, and matte spray-painted Crocs, she crept out her back door like a spy on a mission. Her duffel bag held gloves, wire cutters, duct tape, and an HOA handbook for intimidation, naturally. Moonlight bounced off her glasses as she crouched behind a lilac bush, eyeing the van. No movement, just a faint hum. "Your time's up, intruder," she muttered, slipping on her gloves. With a sharp jab of her pruning shears, she punctured the rear tire. A hiss of air, no alarms, no shouts. Emboldened, she flattened all 4 tires, whispering, "Compliance restored," before vanishing back home. 8 hours later, 2 FBI agents stood on her porch. Agent Harper was tall, stoic, and as unyielding as a brick wall. Agent Sullivan, shorter and chatty, looked like he could charm a senator or sob at a cartoon. Their black suits screamed secrets, and their arrival threw Linda's mental filing system into chaos. She answered the door mid-muffin, smug as ever. "Good morning. Hear about the unpermitted swing set on Oak Lane." "MS. Grayson," Harper began, "we're here regarding vandalism of federal property, a surveillance vehicle on this street." Linda laughed. "Oh, no, wrong house. That van was abandoned, no tags, no sticker, illegally parked. I filed 3 complaints, got no response, so I acted per HOA subsection 8.2. Sullivan coughed. "You slashed the tires?" "I corrected the situation," she said. Harper showed her a grainy night VY sound photo from the van's camera. Linda, in her stay calm and enforce rules sweatshirt, shears in hand. Silence sliced the air. "We need to ask more questions," Sullivan said gently. Linda blinked. "That creepy van? 3 days parked there. It was part of a federal operation targeting a cartel operative on this street," Harper replied. She glanced past them. The van was gone, and the house it had faced now sported a "for sale" sign overnight. Her jaw dropped. "Cartel?" Sullivan nodded. "We were monitoring an El Viper associate. You compromised 6 months of work." Linda gripped the doorframe. "You're saying Miguel, the guy with the wind chimes and that yappy pup, Taqua and the cartel?" "No," Sullivan said. "We're saying Taco's fine, but Miguel might not be who you think." She slammed the door. For 5 minutes, she stood in her foyer, the hum of her security system mocking her. She battled rogue Halloween decor and lemonade stands, but this was new. She stared at her fridge magnet. Not all heroes wear capes and carry clipboards. A black SUV rolled by, a scarred man inside scrolling through photos of her on his phone. Her phone buzzed, a voicemail from an unknown number. "Be careful whose tires you slash," followed by a knife-sharpening sound. She dropped her muffin. Linda wasn't just the HOA queen, she was now a federal suspect. Her rational side argued she'd done nothing wrong. She'd just removed an eyesore. But her dramatic side was already rehearsing for a courtroom showdown. She pictured herself facing a jury of HOA presidents, defending her community. After all, that van had no plates. By afternoon, she'd watched How to Talk to the FBI of Wideos, deleted her DIY security Pinterest board, and eaten 6 mini Twix bars. A police scanner app revealed a raccoon dispute, but no mention of her. A soft knock jolted her. Through the window, she saw a man in a polo and mirrored Shadesno badge, no clipboard. "Yes," she called. He smiled. "Hi. Neighborhood Response Unit. Questions about last night." "What unit?" "Local Law Enforcement Partnership Community Intel. I run the HOA." "Never heard of it." "Exactly why we're here." "Can we come in?" Her gut screamed no, but pride won. She cracked the door. "ID." He flashed a fresh-looking badge. Neighborhood Response Unit, Tier 3. Tier 3? Too vague. "What's this about?" "A federal vehicle incident." "Did you see anything suspicious?" Her stomach sank. "I report everything through HOA channels." "Good. Just making sure no one's in danger." His tone chilled her. "I'll make a statement with my lawyer," she said, then paused. "Well, I could get one." He grinned. "Be careful, MS. Grayson. Not everything here is what it seems." He left. Linda double-locked the door, heart pounding. She'd never been in danger. She created danger for rule breakers. Now, vague threats and badges were at her door. She needed answers. Google failed her. Neighborhood Response Unit showed a youth program in Oregon. Tier 3 badge got her a Wideo game skin. Desperate, she texted Susan across the street, gossip queen and soap maker. "Anything weird on the block?" Susan replied instantly. "Besides the van, FBI, and drone over your house last night?" "Drone." Susan sent a Wideo. Night. VY found footage of Linda's lawn, a humming object circling her chimney. Her blood froze. Another text. Unknown number. "Nice garden. Azaleas need trimming." She dropped her phone. This wasn't a game, I was war. Linda ditched the shears for subtlety. She set up discrete camera, street, mailbox, trash bins plus motion lights and a tripwire with fishing line and bells. Overkill? Maybe, but half measures weren't her style. The next day, 2 black SUVs circle, one with government plates, one without. She logged them as suspect A and B in her neighborhood anomalies spreadsheet. That night, she climbed her roof with binoculars and Chex Mix, eyeing Miguel's yard. He was shirtless, watering plants, then pulled a black DeVYC from under a gnome and spoke into it. A light blinked in the distance. Her heart raced. That wasn't gardening. It was a signal. The HOA meeting felt like a showdown. Neighbors nodded knowingly. Some brought chairs like it was a tailgate. Linda arrived with Deputy Tom off duty, but observant in his cruiser parked prominently. Inside, Linda stood at the podium, crisp blazer on, clipboard in hand. Her voice trembled slightly as she skipped the usual slides, rushing to new business. But Maria raised her hand. "Before flower beds, what about the creek test results?" Silence. Linda faltered. "That's with the county. Results came today." Maria cut in. "Illegal waste, cancer-causing stuff. We have footage." Linda's face paled as Maria showed photos. A hooded man dumping barrels, Linda directing nearby, her name in a notebook. The room erupted. "My dog's sick. You said the water was safe." Linda's husband, Greg, stood. "My wife's obsession turned into cover-ups. I'm filing for divorce and voting her out." Chaos. Tom stepped in. "Linda Grayson, you're under investigation." She fled, blazer like a white flag. Maria took over the HOA, scrapping petty rules. A cookout followed. Tom grilled, Greg fished, and the neighborhood exhaled. Linda, though, wasn't done. After a car bomb at a bake sale meant for her, she doubled down. The FBI added patrols, but she knew they doubted her. Miguel vanished, his porch dark. Sensing a cartel move, Linda rallied loyal neighbors for Operation Linda Storm: motion sensors, chalk-filled flamingos, and Cold War codes. At 3:17 a.m., her sensors tripped. 2 figures moved in. Lights flared, speakers blared HOA warnings, and chalk exploded. Linda grabbed a pitchfork and tackled one. "Miguel, I'm FBI undercover," he gasped. "They blew my cover. I came to warn you." Bullets flew. Neighbors emerged with rakes and pans. FBI trucks roared in. The shooters were zip-tied. Miguel went into custody. Linda was cleared unofficially. The HOA made her a hero, plaque and all. A month later, An envelope arrived. When you're ready for real work. No signature. Linda smiled out her window. Rules would always need enforcing and she was ready.